At first, I start out with a foundation color that closely matches Brooklyn's natural skin tone. I apply that to her eyelids first before I do any of her face makeup. And the reason for that is in case I have any fallout later where I have eye makeup that falls onto the cheeks, I don't have to wipe any makeup off of her face if I have fallout. So I start with foundation, blend that in, and then I set it with a powder. Anytime you put any liquid onto the face, you want to make sure you set it with some type of powder, a pressed powder or a loose powder, and I'm just blotting that on over the foundation that I already had placed on Brooklyn's eyelids. Next, we're going to get out our Urban Decay palette, and we're going to start off with our lightest color first, and it's fairly shimmery, so there it is. I'm going to be using brushes because that's what I'm most comfortable with. You can use a sponge tip applicator for this. You can also use a Q-tip if you're comfortable with that as well. But I'm going to take that lightest color, I'm going to apply that to the lash line all the way to the eyebrow, giving it a little bit of concentration towards the inner corner of the eye closest to the nose, just to give it a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of pop. Next, we're going to be taking one of our lighter colors at the top, and it's right in the center. We're going to take that, again, I'm going to be using a brush, and what we're going to be doing is applying that into a V shape from the outer corner of the eye down to the lash line and into the crease of the lid, and concentrating that right on the corner, giving that some color, and then dragging it from the corner down to the lash line and again through the crease of the lid, and creating some depth there. What you can do also is take some Scotch tape, and you can actually put that onto the face and help you with your crease and your fallout so it doesn't get on the side of your face. You just take a piece of tape, you put it on your skin, take some of the tackiness off, place it from the corner of your eye up to the eyebrow, place that onto the skin. Just make sure you have some moisturizer on the skin so that doesn't hurt when you do take it off, and tap that on and you're ready to go. Next, we're going in with our darker color, giving a little more concentration on the outer corner of the eye. And again, going through the crease, just giving it a little bit more depth. That Scotch tape will really help you with the precision of your line, with your fallout, and will also help you later on with your eye pencil as well. Helps with the fallout and gives you a nice clean line right there without having to really do too much cleanup later on. Something else you can do that's completely optional to you to make the eyebrow stand out a little bit more is to take a powder, any eyeshadow powder that might be just a smidge darker than their natural color of eyebrows, and just fill them a little bit in with a really thin brush and just kind of work your way up and out, and that'll just help define the face a little bit more. Looks great on stage. We're going to take our Urban Decay eyeliner, and I'm going to lift the eyebrow just slightly. The great thing about that tape is it helps give you a guideline as to where the end of your liner is going to be, and you're going to slowly glide across your eyelashes. This is really nice and smooth eyeliner, so this will be easy for you to work with. And don't worry about messing it up because you're going to blend it in with a Q-tip or a sponge tip applicator once you've applied it. Just get as close as you can to the lashes. You'll take your Q-tip and run that along your lash line and smooth that out and give it a nice smudge. So smooth that out and you will take your tape off and you'll see a nice smooth line through there and through your lash line. Next, we're going to get our 110 lashes out. We're going to get out our adhesive that we're going to be using. I'm using Duo, which you can find at Sally Beauty Supply or Meyer. I'm also going to be getting out a pointed Q-tip, which helps with your application, and also a pair of scissors so that we can trim our lashes with. You want to make sure that you take out your lashes, and before you put any adhesive on them, you want to measure them. So just take your lashes, set them on that the eyelashes themselves, see about how long they are, and then trim them. You don't want to have them too long where the ends are poking off of the side of the face outside of the lash line. And just make sure that you trim both sides of the corners of your lashes before you go ahead and apply your adhesive. When you apply your adhesive, you want to make sure that you put it on pretty liberally onto your lashes. You want to make sure that it gets tacky. You don't want to put it on right away when it's wet. Otherwise, it's just going to smear along the lash line and not actually stick. Once your adhesive is nice and tacky, you're going to take your lash strip and you're going to set it onto your lash line. Right away, it does not have to be perfect. You can take the end of your Q-tip and push it into place where it needs to go. You can also use the end of a sponge tip applicator. You can also use a pair of tweezers, anything that can put that into place where it needs to be. And have your child look up and down and around and just make sure you don't have any glue along the bottom lashes. Next, you're going to take your mascara and you're going to blend together not only the false lashes, but you want to make sure you marry into your original, your real lashes and your fake lashes, and just marry them together, and that's what that mascara is going to do. I'm going to take a makeup wipe and I'm going to gently wipe the face off of any fallout that I had without having to ruin any makeup on the face because I haven't done it yet. Next, I'm going to be taking my foundation and I'm going to be just blotting it all over the skin, down the nose, under the eyes, down onto the chin area, under the nose. And this is a color that is as close to Brooklyn's skin color as I can get that to. And just make sure that you buff this out and push that into the skin and take out any redness that you have there that's under the eyes or around the nose or under the chin. Everyone should absolutely be wearing foundation. If you're not wearing any foundation with some powder on it, any makeup, any cheek color, any contouring color is just going to melt off throughout the day. So you want to make sure that everyone has their foundation and their powder on, because that's really what sets the canvas for the rest of your makeup, including your your cheek colors and any type of contouring that you might be doing. So just be sure to make sure you blend in that foundation all over the skin, into the forehead, up to the hairline, and around the eyes, around the nose, and just pay special attention to any redness areas that you might have and blend in really well. I'm going to be using some pressed powder. You want to make sure you apply powder all over your foundation, because anytime you put any liquid onto the face, you want to make sure that you set it with powder. If you don't set it with powder, your makeup really is going to melt off, and those lights get pretty warm, so just make sure that you set your makeup, because that's exactly what your powder is going to do. You can use a loose powder or you can use a pressed powder. We're going to be applying some bronzer or contour color into that crease line right there, or that hollow part of the cheek when you make fish lips, from the edge of the lip up to the ear, the hairline area. You're going to load your brush with your darker color, which is your bronzer or your contour color. You're going to make those fish lips. You're going to find that crease again, and you're going to place that into that hollow space right there. You're going to want to see this color. This is stage makeup. Make sure you stay at least 2 fingers away from the nose when you're applying your blush or your bronzer contour color, and just make sure you blend that in. Remember, this is stage makeup, so you are going to see that. Just make sure you blend it in. We're going to be getting into our pink blush color. You want to make sure that you do stay away from that contour area that you just created. You want to go slightly above onto the apple of the cheek, the puffy part of those cute little apples of the cheek. You want to stay away from under the eye and really hit the cheekbone there. So you're going to load your blush brush with your pink color. You're going to tap some of that excess off, and then start at the apple of the cheek, kind of press into it, and then work your way up to the hairline. And remember, this is stage makeup, so you do want to be able to see this. It is going to be a little bit heavy and dark. Marry your colors together a little bit, but try not to get into that contour color too much. For those that have really small eye areas, smaller children, I know that it's really hard to get all of these colors onto the island, so load your brush with that lightest color if you're having a hard time, and you're going to put that right into the corner of the eye closest to the nose, just to give it a little pop, a little bit of shimmer. And then basically what you're going to be doing after that is going on with the other colors, knowing that you're not going to be able to fill in that whole bottom main portion of the eyelid with that light color. Take your next darkest color, that color right in the middle is so pretty, and start on the outside of the eye and kind of work your way along the base of that, the lash line onto the eyelid, and just pack that on. And then you're going to take your darkest color after that and make that V shape from the outside edge of the eye and into the crease of the eye, and you can just blend those colors together. And then, as you can see, fallout begins to happen under the eye area, and this is where it's really nice not to have applied your face makeup already, because you don't have to worry about ruining your makeup. You can just wipe it off if you hadn't already done your eye makeup already. This will be a really helpful guide to your lip liner so that you can put it on and just follow the directions, and it's really self-explanatory and it'll help a ton. When you're applying your lip liner, you want to make sure that you fill in your lips completely with that lip liner. You'll take your Urban Decay lip gloss, or whatever lip gloss you do have at the moment, and you want to just dab that onto the innermost part of the mouth and just smush the lips together a little bit, not a lot. A little bit of lip gloss goes a long way. You really don't need a lot. You don't want to glob too much on, because then it'll be too wet and will smear the lip liner that you've so carefully put on. And the result is beautiful. You're going to want to make sure that you part the hair over the left eye and straight back, pulling the hair downward. You want to make sure that when you're pulling the hair in towards that bun, you want to pull the hair down towards the neckline, towards that bun, not back and down. You want to make sure it's pulled straight down, down to where that low bun is going to be. Once you're done, smooth everything back with some hairspray and some gel. Make sure you're not pulling back and down. Make sure you're pulling down. Also, make sure that when you take your bun maker, you set it on the top of the hair and you roll it forward, upward, all the way to your bun. When you're done with your bun and you've wrapped it all the way around, the little side pieces on the sides that are kind of sticking out really aren't going to matter much, because you can always pin those with bobby pins and you won't even see them. I hope this tutorial helped you with any questions you may have had about hair or how you're supposed to roll up your bun maker and how to apply your makeup. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thanks so much, Brooklyn.